Good afternoon, business professionals, owners, supervisors, and managers. My name is Carl Jordan, and I have a simple yet sometimes overlooked tool that you can use to increase your productivity and your profit lines within your business, and that tool is communication. Communication problems in the workplace can cost your company productivity and money. Without efficient communication, your company is unable to exchange information essential to daily operations and create communication network to carry new product data. According to Stephen Beebe and Tim Mottet, authors of Business and Professional Communication Principles and Skills for Leadership, communication and work go hand in hand. They further state it is hard to talk about the workplace without also talking about the communication that makes work happen. The everyday workplace presents enough challenges, and communication shouldn't be one of them. Whether we're talking about no communication, poor communication, or miscommunication. But speaking of miscommunication, let me show you one situation that occurred in the news you may be familiar with. 2005, 2007 to 2007 Chevrolet Cobalt made the news a few years ago for an ignition switch failure. And in an article written by Carmine Gallo entitled Two Misleading Words Trigger GM's Catastrophic Communication Breakdown, Mr. Gallo wrote for Forbes magazine in 2014 that group after group and committee after committee within GM that reviewed the issue failed to take action or acted too slowly. The report shows that they acted slowly due to improper word choice. From the beginning, the problem with the ignition switch had been labeled as a customer convenience issue. Essentially, what they were trying to say was that because the key was failing and it wouldn't hold enough, the key ring won't hold enough keys on it. Customers was complaining about that. But the problem was more with the ignition switch. It would fail. It would go back to its original position. The car would stall, causing death, causing accidents, and for GM, they took a hit in their pockets as well as in their reputation. And I know this may be a little bit more of a grandiose type example to give you, but I wanted to illustrate how important communication between subordinates and managers, subordinates and supervisors are to the product, the bottom line, and productivity of any business. And so my solution is creating an organizational communication chain setting. And in order to do that, you need to need a set of organizational communication factors in place, categorized in a way such as social contact, central leadership, information, influence, and barriers to improvement. Now, you can come up with your own, but if you kind of focus on these areas that I just mentioned, obviously you might be able to improve areas of communication so that you don't, in your business, don't find yourself in a situation like GM. And I obtained this information from the International Journal of Business Communication, October 2014's issue. And the article was entitled Communication as a Strategic Tool to Change Processes. And that was by Marit Christensen. In the same journal, International Journal of Business Communication, different issue, April 2014, Karen Mishra, Lois Boynton, and Anil Mishra wrote a piece entitled Driving Employee Engagement, the Expanded Role of Internal Communications. They focused on the fact that increasingly public relations professionals recognizing the importance of internal communication and how a culture of transparency between management and employees can cause an engagement of employees with the organization's priorities. Essentially, we're talking about not only coming from in the same book, but also being on the same page, in the same chapter, et cetera, et cetera. If you're familiar with those old sayings, being on the same page, et cetera, et cetera. Essentially, the quality of relationship between supervisors and their subordinates has been found to be a predictive of subordinate performance. It's not what you say, it's the way you say it. The mediating effect of upward influencing communications on the relationship between leader-member exchange and performance ratings. That is the title of a piece done in the International Journal of Business Communications, April 2015 issue by Susan Gershowitz, Rachel Morrison, and Helena D. Cooper-Thomas. Ultimately, the call to action is this: understanding that communication is a strategic tool in process change. Developing the quality of relationships between supervisors and their subordinates is another key. I just gave you two. There are many tools and toys out there to help one's business become and remain profitable. But at the end of the day, when used properly, openly, and correctly, communication is the most valuable tool. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. And I hope that what I was able to provide for you and illustrate something so simple as proper communication can provide the greatest positive upswing for productivity and ultimately that product and profit margin for any business, big or small. Once again, my name is Carl Jordan, and I thank you for your time and attention.